I am the greatest.
What is going on, guys? My name is Moto, and today you're going to be watching a discussion video, something I wanted to do for quite a good amount of time, and in this time of, confusion between games, I felt like it would be a good idea, because obviously, since MX vs. ATV All Out is coming out very shortly, I felt as though a discussion was needed, and something that hasn't been really addressed in the community that I feel definitely needs to be addressed, and I feel like it could spur some really good conversations and productive shit. Hopefully we don't get a bunch of arguing down below in the comments of what's better or what's worse. I'd prefer if we could get a good comment section of a good debate going between everybody in the community, at least it's on my channel, or even that just comes across this video. I feel like it would be really productive to kind of, talk about what the best MX vs. ATV game is that has ever been released. Ever. Now, my channel is strictly basically focused on modern games. We mainly show MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore, MX GPs, all of that sort of stuff. We've got some Reflex on here. But unfortunately for you guys that are really big Supercross Encore fans, that did not make the list. In fact, we're going to be talking about three games that I think are easily in the top 3 for pretty much everybody who's ever played an MX vs. ATV game. Hopefully, some of these games some people may not have played, but a lot of people have played these games. Those games are going to be MX vs. ATV Unleashed, MX vs. ATV Untamed, and MX vs. ATV Reflex. So without further ado, let's get straight into the discussion, and remember, please don't be toxic in the comments, oh my god. So the very first one we are going to be reviewing is MX vs. ATV Unleashed, and oh my god, guys, I don't know if you remember, but when you were in elementary school, what was it that, like, the big game that everybody had at your school for PS2? What was it? Whenever you had sleepovers, or you were at a party or something, like a little birthday party or something, and there was a sleepover at your friend's house during elementary school, all I remember was playing MX vs. ATV Unleashed. I remember specifically going to my friend's house all the time, and even my friends coming over playing PS2, we would play MX vs. ATV Unleashed all the time, and I think, honest to God, this game was the most fun game I've played in a while, At that time, I was a little kid getting into motocross, I was racing at the time, and what else could I do when it was cold outside or rainy and I couldn't ride? I would come inside and play MX vs. ATV Unleashed. This game comes out of the mouth of not just motocross fans or ATV fans. This comes out of the mouth of most everybody that you can ask that's ever played an MX vs. ATV game, or even back in the day. This is one of the most voted games as one of the best games. It was so much fun. So many people played it. It was just a little arcade fun thing. And you know what? Surprisingly, I remember, one of my buddies coming over, and I swear on my life, we genuinely sat there for, I honestly don't even know how long. It had to have been at least 7, 6, something like that hours, playing on the monster truck compound. This stadium here. We'd play it on dune buggies, we'd play it monster trucks, we'd play it on bikes because you could switch bikes on split screen constantly. And we would just free ride around this place, hitting each other and having a good time, racing, doing different things, seeing how far we could jump. Anything we could do, we were doing because it was just so much fun. I mean, seriously, guys, this is easily one of the most nostalgic games, and honestly is arguably one of the best games that they have released. This spurred the whole MX versus ATV series straight into existence. Honest to God, I don't know a single person, around my age that didn't play this game. It had a huge selection of tracks. From what I remember, it probably isn't as big as what I remember, but, when I was little, it seemed like a lot. You had a lot of national tracks, a couple variations of each. I remember sitting there doing the career mode as James Stewart. Even, I mean, there was just so much to offer. Obviously it wasn't a 2-stick game, so it wasn't the most amazing thing in the entire world. But this game, oh my god, for a kid my age, when this was dropped, in I believe 2005, I got this for Christmas, and oh my god, I was over the moon. I think my dad had to pry me off the PlayStation just for me to get to school in the morning. It was that amazing. I mean, the Nationals were really good. I don't have gameplay of that, and as you can see, this is actually GDubmx's footage. I don't know if he's even around or what that is anymore, but it's just amazing game, and if you guys didn't play it when you were little, I don't know what is wrong with you. So moving on to the next game is going to be MX versus ATV Untamed. Now this one was revolutionary. Revolutionary. And I mean, how could it not be revolutionary at this point? It's MX versus ATV Untamed. Now this was around the time when MX versus ATV was going cross-platform. So PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 2. I remember I didn't have a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360 at the time, and I just had a PS2. So the game was completely different. Now the experience I had was very similar to the MX versus ATV Unleashed until I got an Xbox 360. This game alone had Endurocross, Nationals, Supercross, anything a motocross lover would want, it had it. Plus, it had that original MX versus ATV, style with, I believe, monster trucks. Didn't have planes or anything of that sort, but it had quite a lot of good stuff, juicy stuff. And honestly, this game made a childhood, or I guess not a childhood. 2007 was when this released. This literally was the most fun thing I played in a while. After I got burnt out on MX vs. ATV Unleashed, there was nothing else really to play, and I played the actual crap. I don't know why I said crap. I could have just said shit. But I played the shit out of this game. Now, really quickly, I do want to say this is Windham151's content. I did take this off of his channel. This is just a minor clip out of the whole video that it is. I literally had no access to an Xbox 360, or I would have recorded all the gameplay here you're seeing. So, thank you, Cole, for letting me use this footage. It's an amazing game, nonetheless. So, I remember, personally, there's, it's a weird thing. When you go back to these MX versus ATV games, when you're comparing them, you can literally just sit here and pick memories out of your mind of what you did with this game. I remember sitting at my cousin Ryan's house the night before we were going to go to a Loretta Lynn qualifier. And we literally sat on his PlayStation 3 playing this game on Harris Park for 30 laps straight to see who was better 5 times in a row with my other cousin Nick there. So we were having a little battle tournament thing. With us 3, we kind of just switched back and forth to see who could win the most out of like a best of 5. It was literally amazing. Probably one of the most fun things I did in my childhood. It's just one of those games that if you played it when you were little, there was so much to do. You had the Endurocross, for example. I didn't get gameplay of that, but oh my god, this game was just beyond fun. Another one-stick game, but honestly, that doesn't really take too much away from the game itself. It was just so much fun. The Supercross was so nice. The whips weren't very easy, but we did figure out a way to whip with the brake, and I think we just do a couple of extra things there. So, moving on, we're going to go to the fan favorite, the modern hero, MX vs. ATV Reflex. Now, personally, I think this game has become cocky. I do. Now, this is my own footage, I will say. This is a video I pulled from way back when on Grasslands, clearly on the Geico Honda. Regardless, this is a fan favorite, and personally, I think this game is cocky. I think the people are giving it too much credit for what it did. Now, yes, it revolutionized MX versus ATV. I mean, when you think back to MX versus ATV, you can automatically think of, like, yeah, you know what, MX versus ATV Reflex, you got the double sticks. Obviously, it's still played on PC by modders and all that stuff. If you just go in and mod it and make it, custom tracks you can do, custom skins, custom bikes, whatever you want, you can go in there on. It had the nicest physics, and in some people's opinions. Personally, if I'm honest, I was more of an Alive guy at the time when I really got into MX versus ATV online, at least. But this is a fan favorite that, like I'm saying, I think is a little bit too cocky, if I can give it a title. If anything, the game is very, very talked up. I don't think it was as good as people are saying, but it was a very, very good game. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to see the comments saying, oh, you're bashing Reflex. No, I love Reflex. I love every MX vs. ATV game, to be 100% honest. I haven't disliked a single one. Clearly why I'm playing MX vs. ATV Supercross while people hate on it constantly. I mean, it's just my preference. So, regardless, this game was amazing. As a kid, when I got an Xbox 360 for Christmas, we got MX vs. ATV Reflex, and oh my god, I could not put the controller down. Again, it's the weird thing. THQ made some really, really good games for us as kids, and now that I've grown up, I just admire how every single game got me hooked. Including, you know, Alive and in Encore. Honestly, every single game has gotten me hooked, and I just... You think back to the memories. I can specifically remember when MX Online tournaments was a thing, going in and running tournaments on Lost Meadow or I don't know, I think it's Lost Meadow. Regardless, I can remember specifically going on MX Online tournaments with my buddy Wade, you know, playing all of those. I remember doing the 125 tournaments. That's where I excelled, I felt, on Xbox 360. So many memories. And honestly, this game was amazing for the time. And of course, it had every single MX vs. ATV feature that anybody could want. It had UTVs. I don't know if I think it might have had monster trucks. Did it? No. Wait. It might have had monster trucks. I don't fully remember. It's been a little bit since I've been on the game originally and played something that's not the dirt bikes, but I do remember that it had UTVs, it had trophy trucks, you know, a lot of extra stuff. And it was very, very fun to play at the time. We'd go into free ride and just throw fat whips through lines, carve out ruts, and make our own tracks on the free ride tracks. You know, anything you could really do on the game was just amazing. The DLCs weren't very overwhelming, I will say. That was when, obviously, I got into the online aspect of MX vs. ATV. But, you know, I remember wanting to grind out Grasslands, which is what we're on right now. I remember wanting to grind out, I believe... I honestly don't even remember what the other track was called. I remember wanting to grind out Boxcar, and in the other Supercross track, I don't know how I don't remember these ones. But I remember wanting to grind out all the DLC tracks. I remember sitting there and creating teams on MX vs. ATV with my friends. I remember just everything. It's so much nostalgia. Obviously, the game had 2 sticks, and you could throw some really, really fat whips. But that's really all I remember from MX vs. ATV Reflex. I don't really know what else to gas it up with or give you guys. You guys already know about Reflex. So, regardless, if we're going to come down to my personal preference on the best MX vs. ATV game to ever be released, ever, and I mean ever, it is MX vs. ATV Unleashed. I know. Big, big surprise there. Everybody probably was thinking, oh, it's got to be Untamed. It's got to be Reflex. But when I think back to when I was a kid, I don't think I had a better time playing MX vs. ATV games than whenever I was playing MX vs. ATV Unleashed. Honest to God. And I don't think I was the only person that feels that way. So, that's personally my opinion. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys' favorite MX vs. ATV game of all time is. If it's Supercross Encore, let me know. If it's Supercross, if it's Alive, if it's Reflex, if it's just MX Unleashed before this stuff was even a thing. If it was Unleashed itself, Untamed, whatever MX vs. ATV game it was. Hell, it could even be Superfly or anything of that sort. Just let me know down below in the comments. I really want to have a good discussion on all of this stuff. And again, really quickly, I do want to shout out GDubmx and Windham151. I did pull content from their pages. I do not own this stuff. This is not created by me. I'm just pulling clips from their videos. That way I can actually have something to show you guys because I didn't have any access to the consoles that these run on. So anyway, guys, hopefully you did enjoy this video. And again, please don't be toxic down below in the comments. We don't need toxic comments. We just want to be a friendly discussion and all of that stuff. So anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I am going to be the #1 undeniable, undisputed source for MX vs. ATV All Out and Monster Energy Supercross the game content here on this channel. So yeah, guys, my name is Moto, and I'm out. Peace!